So Portland Center Stage is the biggest theater in the city. We're the second largest theater in the Pacific Northwest. And so one of the advantages of that is you get to see work of scale. You get to see work like Astoria that is on an epic scale that you're not going to get to see in most other venues in the city. One of the other things I think is unique, because we're the big guy, we get to have really broad arms. We get to visit a lot of different places through the course of a season. So you could see something super intimate downstairs in the studio, and that's a solo show, and you could see something that's a mammoth musical on the main stage. So there is a very broad series of adventures that you get to walk through the course of a season here at Portland Center Stage.
Oh, I sing because I'm happy. Oh, and yes, I sing because I'm free.
It's our 30th anniversary. I think what's extraordinary is, this organization grew out of Oregon Shakespeare Festival. There were a group of 6 arts patrons, theater lovers in this community who were sitting down in Ashland, and they would go down every year and see plays, and they were having drinks. And they're like, why can't we have this level of professional theater in Portland? Came up with the dream. And Ashland was here for 5 years, and then it became an independent company in 1994. It was a tough beginning. And in some imaginations, it shouldn't have survived. So that we're here 30 years later in an extraordinary building that this community helped to fund and make possible, and that over 1 million people have seen us show in the last decade. I think it's a testament to this community. It's a testament to the people who think that this art form is really a value to have in the city, and a reason to celebrate. When we try to put the season together, we're always looking for, what's exciting, what's coming down the pike, and what might resonate with the community. And it is never an exact science, because you can't predict how people are going to respond to something. I think some of the things that you notice about this particular season is that there are a lot of new playwrights. There are not a lot of stories or titles that you may not have heard of before, but the stories themselves, or the gist of the stories, are quite intriguing. And one of the things that I noticed about it, I didn't plan it, but noticed after we put it together, is there are a lot of outsider voices. There are a lot of opportunities to get to know somebody that maybe you haven't been invited into their story before, into their lives before. And I think that's particularly exciting, especially in this moment in time when we are really struggling as a country about who is the other and how we feel about the other, and are they welcome or are they not welcome? And I am just super excited that in this community we get to broker a series of conversations about people's lives who are different than maybe we're accustomed to talking to.
A year ago on a farm in Zamora, she says, "Vámonos!" And off we go to this America. Barely anything we own between all of us. We leave it all behind. We pray for a safe trip.
This art form, what's so interesting about it, it's old. It's an old art form. The first time we have somebody wrote down that it actually happened, it was like 3,000 years ago, but it's probably been going on way, way, way longer than that. And you think, well, it's old-fashioned, how could it have any relevance? And what's really astounding to me is the number of emails that I get through the course of a year about how a particular story, a particular evening landed for somebody, resonated, opened up a door that they hadn't realized. And one of my favorites was a woman who was considering renewing her subscription, but she was on the fence. She hadn't liked one of the shows that she'd recently seen, and so our patron services manager was talking to her, and she said, "Well, what about this? Did you like this play?" "Yeah, I like this play, I like this play." And what she started talking about was that her 15-year-old daughter and she had had a tough time finding each other, finding a way to relate to each other. And that coming to the theater had been kind of their one touchstone. Once a month, they knew that they were going to have a time together, and that it inevitably gave them something meaty to talk about, and that in a sense that they found their way back to the relationship through those dates at the theater. And I think that's the power of the art form, you know, versus, I love Netflix, I love HBO, but versus gathering in a room of people seeing a live event has a different alchemy, if you will. And I just think it's fantastic that we have as many opportunities in this community to experience it as we do.